Hello everyone. So thank you for having me. So it's been a long time doing this session. So yeah, so I'm Rusiru Bandara. I'm currently working as a senior engineer at Viapps. So you can contact me. I will actually publish this post this entire page with you. So you can contact me through my LinkedIn or email. So this presentation, I just like doing it like 20 minutes back. So most of the presentation actually brought to you by 20% me and 80% GPT. So therefore, just fact check before go through the presentation slides. So yeah, let me. Okay. Yeah. So I will mainly focusing on this session, basically give you an my experience. So what I have gained throughout the ITP and now how I actually land internship program using this ITP and from there how my career progress. And I will give you the things that I have learned throughout my career so that you can actually learn these like obstacles and ahead you are going to throughout your career. So first thing, so I will mainly align to the ITP project while I'm giving my thoughts about what you can actually gain from this ITP project. So the first one is actually you need to actually select a good project and also refine your project. So I think some of you already selected your project. So it can be e-commerce, AI, like application, healthcare, educational tool like LMS, or social networking application. So any other application you can actually select. The main important point is once you select a particular domain, just learn about what you are going to build and then create a scope around it. What is in scope, what is out scope. So planning these instructions in the very beginning will help you help you throughout the development and design phase of your application. So I think like in our time also, most of the people actually just select the topic and then select the tech stack. So most of them actually select MERN stack at the time. So select the tech stack and just start coding. So I know like as a beginners, we wanted to just straight away go ahead and just do the coding in the application. But it's when you like come to the industry and have a few years experience, you obviously you are getting to know that. So before you just touch the keyboard, you just need to go through and plan it out what you want to build and how you want to build it. So that is really important. So that skill you can actually gain it from the ITP project. So that I have actually gained my experience. So how I can plan uh, and how I can implement my plan according to the approach that I'm taking. So at the time, it's not a really complex approach. It just very bare minimum. So just have a plan and just do it according to the plan. So it's very critical. So select your application very well and then like narrow it down and have a good functional scope and just identify what are the non-functional scope, right? So that way, once you have identify what is the scope of this project, it is very easy to like break down all the functional components and then divide it among the group members, right? So I think it's 5-member group now. So back then, I think it is 8-member group. So that's why it is really important to refine these requirements and refine your project and have a good domain of your application, right? So it is very important, not only for the ITP project actually. So when you become to the industry, so you can throughout your industry, you can actually work for multiple companies, multiple projects, right? So when you like moving from one project to another project, sometimes you don't have any idea about what this product actually going to do. So you don't have any knowledge about the domain. So that's why it is really important. If you don't know the knowledge, just learn it now, so that you can actually improve that skill over time, right? So when it comes to the industry, you can apply those skills, so which will give you really good benefits when it comes to industry. So that's why this part, identifying the domain and have a good scope is really important. So basically you can I just list down a few like methods you can actually refine your project scope, like break down project into manageable modules. So for example, your team have 5 members. At least your project should be like divided into 5 major components, right? 5 major functional components. So each one of your member can work on it individually, and then at the end you can merge it to complete your application. So that is one approach. And also you can prioritize the core functionalities over like optional features. For example, let's say you wanted to implement a file management API, so generate reports. So those kind of features, if it is have more priority than just normal CRUD operation, just focusing on that part. So because that is a core functionality of the application. And set clear and achievable milestones. So basically, so when you are defining project scopes of features, it should be very clear and it should be very narrow down when you like break down all of your scopes into features. If one feature should not implement other features, it should narrow it down, should have a clear and achievable milestone. And also as a team, just get into regular meetings and review the scope, and just like throughout your like ITP project period, just verify, are we in right track, are we doing these scopes on right track, so we can actually are we able to merge all these changes, are we having time to test all these stuff. So just get regular meetings and just like communicate with the team. And one more thing that I wanted to add is, when you are communicating in the ITP project, at least try to communicate with English. I know our native language is Sinhala, so we actually as friends, so we just talk using Sinhala. But the reason that I'm telling is, at least for these meetings, try to like communicate with English. Is that when you come to the industry, or you may be directly working with clients, even an intern can work with client. So most of the time in the software industry, we actually dealing with the foreign countries, right? So the main language they are using is English. So if you can actually utilize that time, the ITP period time, to improve your communication is skills, clear communication. So that is really beneficial when you land a job, not only internship, land a job in the industry. So you can actually increase the chance to become maybe promoted to become a team leader or engineering manager. Because when it comes to the industry, the coding, the actual coding, uh, you can actually go into a certain level, right? Maybe a tech lead or senior software engineer or architect. But if you wanted to go beyond that, like engineering manager, management, or VP, or any other, so you need to have a set of soft skills apart from the your coding skills, right? So that's why this ITP not on use this ITP project not only to just code it, not only to just improve your programming knowledge, just improve your soft skills as well: communication, project management, time management, how you can refine a project. Those kind of soft skills you should learn within this period. So it will actually give really benefit when you actually land a job in the industry. So talking about the teamwork, actually, so you have a 5 member group, right? So probably you have one group leader. So use this ITP project, just not give all of the heavy duty work just to the group leader. Just take the responsibility and take the ownership of the things that you are going to do in the project, which is very important when it comes to the industry. Because I throughout my career I saw that like some of the, I think some of means like 70% of junior engineers or even senior engineers, does not take any responsibility for their own code. So something went wrong, they didn't like provide answers or any other. Just not not to be like that. So because when it comes to industry, your effective communication and collaboration is really important, right? Otherwise you will left behind in the industry. Because now, as you may know, now IT industry, software industries, uh, like improving every second. So with the now AI stuff and all that, so you need to have a effective collaboration with the team and effective communicator with the team. So that's why use this ITP project to be more to get more ownership of the project, not only for that leader, but manage your team. So just ask what you are like, uh, what you are struggling with, how can you help your team member, which is really beneficial when it comes to the industry. Because those are the soft skill actually day to day we actually use. So we actually maybe I even learn from interns. So that's why, because you can actually learn from anyone. That is how this software engineering industry works. So you need to have a really good teamwork. So if you just a single person, or just thinking like this, okay, I'm just doing my feature and I will showcase using my PC, just get my marks and then leave it. So you may get your marks in the university, but when it comes to the industry, you will suffer a lot with those kind of like behaviors. So that's why use this like project to really learn about teamwork and collaboration. And talking about the project management, actually team working. So the project management is really important because in the industry we have separate people like a scrum master, project manager, business analysis, or all these people have the ability to manage the project. They may be using, so maybe using Trello, Jira, or any other uh, project management tool. But in the ITP, so one of the things that I have learned in the ITP is that using the project management tools. So how we can actually create an epic. So how we can create features. So how the Kanban board works. So how we can link our PR into the ticket. So those kind of stuff you can actually learn throughout this ITP project. So that's why you can use any project management tool out there. So in this like page, actually I list down some of the open source tools which is completely free, so you can use, you don't have to pay anything. So I just linked a few open source tools that I have come up with just doing just preparing these sessions. So one of them is this focal board, so which is a open source project management tool. It is completely free, so you can actually download it and just share it with your team, so that you can contribute without having credit cards or any other. So that's why there are a lot of tools out there, so just use it. So try to use it and understand how we can improve the productivity of the team and the work that we are doing using these tools. So that is really important. So that's one of the things that I have gained throughout the ITP project. So the next one is actually the development. So now first you need to understand the domain of the project and then scope it down and have a set of in scope features, and just identify this, just use project management tool to list down like those scope into smaller features, right? And then start to develop. So when it comes to the development, so most of the time as beginners we just first focusing on this one. So as I mentioned earlier, so there are a lot of stuff before come to the actual development. So you may need to have designs. So you may need to have a database schemas, diagrams, use case diagrams, use case description, sequence diagrams. So lots of kind of documentation needs to be done when it before we come to the actual implementation level. So I will explain why that documentation and like documentation and thinking is really important when it comes to the software development in a bit after this section. So first I will focusing on full stack development. So most of the time in this ITP project, you're going to work as a full stack engineer, right? So which means you have to work on both front end and the back end components, right? In simple term, its ability to handle all the aspect of the web application, from database layer, back end, and then front end, and also the deployment. So as a whole, we call it as full stack development. So the components in full stack, like front end and the back end and the DevOps, which is managing and maintaining all the deployments. So one of the benefits you can gain from the full stack development is to have the ability to handle various project aspects, because as a full stack engineer, you know how this backend API going to affect on the front end component, what the front end component wants from the backend API, because you have both skill set to identify what is the front end components going to look like and how I can provide the data set from the backend through an API to that particular component, right? So as a front end, as a full stack engineer, you can figure it out, right? And it will basically enhance the problem solving capabilities, and also it will increase the employability, which means employability uh, due to the broader skill set, because now you have both front end and the back end skill set, not not to the extreme levels, but you may be categorized on full stack developer actually categorized under two main subcategories: back end heavy full stack and front end heavy full stack. So back end heavy means like focusing on more. He is a full stack developer, but he is more focusing on server side operation and complex computations, database interaction, and all that, right? But he is also capable of developing front end applications as well. So in the front end heavy means is more focusing on the front end, user interface design, user experience, client side functionalities, those kind of stuff. He is mainly focusing that is main focus area of full stack heavy, sorry, front end heavy full stack engineer. But he can also implement backend APIs as well. So that's the main like difference between backend heavy and full front end heavy. So and then, okay, so you can actually read these all these continuous CI/CD pipeline and code reviews. So I will give you a brief example. What happens into some of our colleagues when we are doing actually doing the ITP project. So um, when you are start developing project with multiple members of your team, so try to use Git as the first session. Actually, it gives a really good evidence why you should not should it must use Git when you are working with any project, right? Because when the time we are actually doing the IDP project, actually some of our friends some of our friends develop their feature on their machine, right? And then when the time comes to the Viber session, they have five different eight different laptops and bring to the Viber session, just demo it using one by one. A project should not be like that. So uh, a project can be developed by hundreds of or like thousands of develop engineers, right? But an outsider, when they looking at the code base, they should see, oh, okay, one person actually code this particular entire code base, but behind the scene there are thousands of developers actually contributed to the project. So the reason that an outsider see, okay, this is a one person coding, but actually it is thousand developers actually contributed, is that is that what you call discipline of coding styles. So you need to have set of discipline and set of like rules when you are contributing to the project as a team, right? So that's why coding just use proper coding standards. So I will share a good like page that you can use to learn major design patterns. So a good code actually have good code should have design patterns, right? So just try to learn, even though it's just a beginner level, just try to learn at least one or two design patterns in your application. Then you know why you are going to use a design pattern, and how you are going to implement it. Because when it comes to the industry, I saw a bunch of throughout my code review sessions, most of the people actually does not even think about writing a design patterns, even though it's pretty straightforward to implement a design pattern for some kind of functionalities. So that's why just learn these concepts, design patterns, coding style guides, all that. So it will give you really good uh, start when you are starting your job as a software engineer, right? Because this ITP project is your playground before you come to the actual industry, right? You can do anything, whatever you want. You just try out any framework, any tools, any design patterns and all that coding style guide. Because just try to use like handful of things. So, and I understand how it works, and then when you come to the industry, you have proper knowledge. Okay, how at least basic knowledge how you can start a project, how you can contribute to your project, right? So that is really important. So the next one that I have mainly gained from these ITP projects is the communication. As I mentioned earlier, having proper communication is really important when it comes to the industry, because I have worked with multiple clients, so none of them actually English speak Sinhala. So that's why I told earlier, just in the meetings, just try to uh, use English as a team, so that not only you improve your soft skill, so you actually try to present a good like communicator. Like you will become a good communicator in the when it comes to the industry, right? So if it effective communication with clients, so which means client means in this case lecturers. So effective communicating with lecturers. So try to convince the lecturers, okay, we are going to build this one. These are the functional requirements. These are the non-functional requirements. So these are the tools that we are going to use. Just try to convince them, okay, we are going to do a good project. So basically, as a developer or as a owner of your application, you are trying to sell it to the client. So in this case, is lecturers. It is basically your good practice space, a good playground. So you can actually, when it comes to the industry, you can use those soft skill to contribute to the real world applications, right? So techniques for requirement gathering. So basically, requirement gathering is another separate discussion. When you actually define your scope, it's really important to have a good set of requirements, basically functional requirements and non-functional requirements. And then try to get as much as knowledge about your application, about the domain of the application, so that that actually helpful for you to identify what are the requirements of the application, right? So you can actually conduct interviews, any surveys with the industry people to, let's say you are try to build an e-commerce application for let's say booking booking platform. So you can have friends working on the booking platforms, or any you can actually ask with lecturers, parents, how it system works. So anyone who actually working on those platforms, and also brainstorm sessions, create use cases and user stories. So that's why it is really important to do these things prior to the code level. So you have the use cases, user stories, all that, so that you have a clear idea about what you are going to build. So developing prototypes, you can use any available design software like Figma, Miro, any other tool to mockups to validate your requirements. So yeah, so I'm going to really quickly talk about version controls, even though actually in the first session, Kavishka actually shared a good knowledge about version controls. I will not going to explain about what is Git and GitHub, but I will give you a more um, like like architectural level approach that you can use Git. So in when it comes to the version control system, so there are mainly two approach that we are using in the industry. Is basically like trunk-based development and the Git flow workflows. So when you are like push your first initial code base to the GitHub, right? Each of your team member can create feature branches out of the main branch. So main branch is our uh, like main trunk, which is the main entry point. Entry point means main branch of your repository, and you can create feature branches, hot fixes about your like about the features or fixes that you are going to build. So what is the difference between trunk-based development and Git flow actually? So if I go to the Git flow, so Atlassian actually have a good like documentation related to Git flow. Git flow is that you can actually have multiple feature branches and also multiple primary branches. Primary branches means like main branch, you can have another primary branch called development, staging, uh, let's say UAT, those kind of branches you can have multiple primary branches along with the feature branches. So when it comes to the development, so actually let's say we have main branch and the development branch. So main branch is mainly used to do official releases, right? Let's say we have a main branch at one particular time. We create a tag. A tag means actually snapshot of a snapshot of the code at a given point of time. So that is called tag. So we can actually create a tag and do the release using the main branch. Meantime, you can actually work on the development branch. You can branch out from the development branch into the feature branches, and you can like work on these feature branches and then merge it to the development branch. So actually in here, you can see that this is the development branch. You actually branch out from the development branch. You work your feature and then merge it to the development branch. And then finally merge the development branch into the main branch. So that's how the Git flow works, right? So there is a one drawback of this approach is that like if you haven't like update your branch, update your feature branch with the latest code base, when the time you wanted to merge your code base, right, there can be a lot of conflicts, right? So I remember that like so in the when I come to the industry, this is happened from the actually one of the engineer in the team. So he actually created a branch from the development branch. We at the time we using Git flow in that project. So his feature is really big feature and it actually took like 2.5 months to implement. So the problem is he's work on this like branch 2.5 months straight, but he haven't actually forgot to get the latest code from the development branch. But meantime, within the 2.5 months, other developers actually contribute and merge the code base to the development branch. Now the development branch is far more ahead from the actual feature branch that he is working on. But after 2.5 months, when the time we wanted to merge that particular feature, I think I remember that there are 100 and more than 110 files conflicted. So it took actually another 1.5 weeks to resolve all these conflicts and then retest the entire application again. So that one of the drawback of the Git flow. But if you are a person that actually regularly update your branch with the latest features from the development branch, that might not be the case, right? So that's why it is really important to have these set of principles like rules when it comes to the version control. So trunk-based development, on the other hand, is opposite of that. Uh, it does not have multiple feature branches. We call it as we have only one particular primary branch, which is the main branch. In the JIT, in the trunk-based development, we don't have any development staging kind of branches. We have one single branch, and we actually branch out from the main branch and do the feature development, merge it to the main branch. The difference is that we call in the trunk based development, we call these branches as short lived branches. So for example, I just log into the system just for work 8 a.m. Just I create a branch and work on the branch, commit the changes, and before I just finish my work day, I just create a PR to the main branch and merge it before I leave. So that's why it's called short lived branches. It's not contain the entire feature but part of the feature, so that's why it is called short-lived branches. That's that's because we really quickly branch out from the master branch and merge it with the new changes. That is why called trunk-based development. We only have one single trunk. So in your ITP project, you can actually either use JIT flow or trunk-based development, uh, depending on your need. So I highly recommend to stick to one of these two JIT approaches. So it will give you much more benefit. When it comes to the industry also, you can actually use these ideas like when a senior developer talk about what trunk-based, okay, we need to use trunk-based development. If you use that approach, you know exactly what he's talking about, uh, right? So that's the main important part. So there are a lot of things that we can actually talk about today, but I will before I finish, so I will give you few other tools, which is technical technical tools you can use in your ITP project. So for example, like let's say you are going to develop your backend. So most of you guys actually start developing using Node.js and Express, right? So in this time, try to use another any like other like frameworks, such as like if you just I think you heard Nest.js, right? So Nest.js is a really powerful framework that actually build on top of Express, uh, that support inbuilt dependency injection. So this is really benefit. They really best fit when you are working on really large scale project that have multiple dependencies. So with this framework, you don't have to worry about dependency injection, because this framework able to uh, de- inject the dependencies for you. So that is one of the main and uh, what you call benefit of this approach. And also it is they have really good documentation. So I really recommend to use these frameworks. So another one is called Fastify. So it is very fast and low overhead framework, really fast than the Express framework. So if you go to the benchmarks, actually, so Fastify can handle more than 47,000 requests per second. When it comes to Express, it is actually average. These are average numbers depending on the project. This may be differ, right? So it's average more than 10,000 requests per second. But since Fastify, if you're if your application have more input input output requests back and forth, highly recommend to use Fastify. It is really easy, just like Express. And one benefit is that if you are using Nest.js, you can actually integrate Nest.js with Fastify for better performance. So that's why you can use any tool. So there are a bunch of other frameworks, but if you can use one of these tools just to try it out how it works, just highly recommend. And also before I finish, one of the thing that I wanted to give you guys is reading documentation. So when the time I start doing ITP project, I don't read any documentations, because I just watch YouTube videos how to do something, like just search it and watch it. But when I gain my experience in the industry, I know I'm not uh, depending on the YouTube videos. I just go to the actual official documentation and start reading about the documentation. So the how to read a documentation is another skill that you must uh, improve through these ITP project sessions, project timeline. So you can actually go to any like documentation. For example, if you are just working with Python, you just go to the fast API documentation, and you wanted to learn so fast APIs, right? So just go to the official documentation of theirs, and just go to the just what are the features that they are like offering, right? And then how I can learn. So you can actually, most of the modern documentation explain how to use their documentation, right? So that you will they will actually guide you through the documentation, so you will be able to understand most of the concepts that they are using. So if you just if you want like have a separate session for how to read a documentation from scratch, just let the team organization team know. They will probably arrange the sessions for you. So that's basically like I wanted to like give you in my session. So I hope you may learn some things from the session. But if you want to ask any questions, just send me a message